Could you discuss the development of the matrix that you incorporate in the early chapters of your book, and the levels of inquiry?
Right. Ideally, I'm not sure whether the word ideally is the correct word, but let's use it for the moment. Ideally, we would like to see instruction structured in a way so that this process goes on all of the time. That's not possible. First of all, kids are not ready for it all the time. Secondly, teachers don't always have the references that they would need. Third, there are all kinds of factors that I sort of implied before related to the support of this process, so that teachers can't always teach this way all of the time. So we designed we call it the levels of inquiry discovery matrix, instructional matrix, and it allows the teacher to look at their teaching and fit it into so that they themselves know the level of the amount that they expect students, the amount of inquiry they expect students to become involved in, and discovery involved in. It's a way of the teacher keeping track so they don't revert back to the old system of lecturing all the time. Because the tendency is for teachers to lecture. Not the tendency, it's the research shows that teachers spend 90% of the time lecturing, on average, not only in the sciences but in other fields, 90% of their time lecturing. And we know that learning occurs more so when the lecture is reduced. And that matrix gives opportunity for some lecture, and it's different amounts of it, and different amounts of emphasis on inquiry and discovery based upon the teacher's judgment on what the kids can handle and what the teacher can handle.
I got to tell you that I've taught, I probably might have mentioned it, at 3 different places in the last several years, and I have unfortunately seen this pedantic, did I say it right? Pedantic approach at all schools, at all, with a variety of academic reputations, shall we say, and just reminded me of my high school days. I was very surprised that given the equipment and the advances that things are relatively the same. So this book is very welcome. Could you describe how this book came together? And this is the book, folks.
Yeah, you might.
The Science Quest, published by Josie Bass.
Right. It was published within the year.
Available on Amazon and elsewhere.
It came together because obviously because of my desire to get something that would be usable by teachers in workshops and in professional development experiences. But it involved, actually, the book has a page where it has contributors. There are 4 or 5 contributors that are former doctoral students, people who have their doctorates, that teach at the school. Well, 4 of them teach at the school level, 1 at the 2-year college level, and they have been running workshops and on this subject for some years now. So and they've been teaching using this strategy. In fact, 2 of the students left one school district to go to another because they wanted to have that support that they needed. They felt they needed that support to teach the way we had that has evolved from their studies, their research. Yeah.
And in closing, you mentioned briefly that this approach is not just something that can be used in science instruction.
That's right. I think the book does not. The book deals with it within the context of science. If I had to write the book over again, I would give an emphasis, more emphasis to it, this broader applications in other subjects. And in fact, I'm working on an article right now that's going to attempt to do that, for an article for publication that's going to do that. So that so that hopefully people in other fields will apply the process. Again, the process, its full title is Levels of Inquiry, Discovery, Levels of Student Inquiry, Discovery, in Instruction. So that, I think that's what you're looking for.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, we want to thank Dr. Sutman again for being so gracious with his time and his home here. I want to thank Tara for the background barking if you hear it. And until next time, this is Mr. Springel signing off again. Thanks very much, Dr. Sutman. Really appreciate it.